Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Glad to see you this morning. We begin our time together in song with We Are by Unitarian Universalist Issei Barnwell. Please make sure your microphones are muted so that you can sing as energetically as you like to welcome in this beautiful day that we've received. Here we go. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Gwinnett. My name is Jan Taddeo, and it is my great joy and tremendous privilege to serve our faith as a minister of this congregation. I am so grateful that we are here together today. I am also very grateful to our worship associate Daniel Bailey for creating most of this service. I'm here to assist and do some of the container pieces of our service. And Daniel has worked hard to create what is going to be a beautiful service for us today. Thank you. If you have a chalice or a candle at home, we'll be lighting that in a few minutes, so make sure it's ready. And now I offer our words of welcome. We arrive from many places and many life experiences as we gather in this cherished space to recall our true selves, reflect on the meaning of our lives, and explore questions of ultimacy together. If you are here for the first time or the 1,000th time, you are welcome here. If you believe in many gods, a god, a goddess, no god, or you're just not sure, you are welcome here. If you are gay, straight, bisexual, asexual, pansexual, transgender, cisgender, or still trying to figure it out, you are welcome here. If you are covered in tattoos or you are a blank canvas, you are welcome here. If you shout amen after every sentence or song, or you prefer to sit quietly with us, you are most welcome here. If you come here sober or addicted or somewhere in between, you are welcome here. If you are grieving or if you are celebrating, you are welcome here. Your whole self, all that you were, all that you are, all that you yearn to be is welcome here. And you are just where you should be, in a room full of compassionate, thoughtful, Unitarian Universalists ready to meet you where you are. You are welcome here. You are home. And if this is your first time with us, then we hope that you will indeed find your spiritual home here with us. We are becoming a radically welcoming sanctuary in a green space. We foster spiritual growth as we joyfully nurture connections and community within our walls and beyond. If this is your first time here, I encourage you to join us several times to get the full flavor of this congregation and this faith tradition. and to come and be curious, courageous, and compassionate with us. Welcome. And now I invite everyone to take a big, deep breath with me. And on the next breath, let's bring every molecule of our being into this precious time we've set aside to be together. As sound vibrates through us and around us, may it remind us that we are deeply, inextricably interconnected with all of life, all beings on this earth, all the air we breathe, the stars in the cosmos. We are all one. We are all one.
Our opening words are the Prayer for the Earth by Barbara Deming. Spirit of love that flows against our flesh, sets it trembling, moves across it as across grass, erasing every boundary that we accept, and swings the doors of our lives wide. This is a prayer I sing. Save our perishing earth. Spirit that hears each one of us, hears all that is, listens, hears us out. Inspire us now. Our own pulse beats in every stranger's throat, and also there within the flowered ground beneath our feet. And teach us to listen. We can hear it in the water, in wood, and even in stone. We are earth of this earth, and we are bone of its bone. This is a prayer I sing, for we have forgotten this, and so the earth is perishing.
I invite you to get your chalices ready as I light our congregational chalice here. And Daniel and I will share the words of Joy Atkinson, The Womb of Stars. The womb of stars embraces us. Remnants of the fiery furnaces pulse through our veins.
We are of the stars, the dust of the explosions cast across space.
We are of the earth. We breathe and live in the breath of ancient plants and beasts.
Their cells nourish the soil. We build our communities on their harvest of gifts.
Our fingers trace the curves carved in clay and stone by forebears unknown to us.
We are a part of the great circle of humanity, gathered round the fire, the hearth, the altar.
We gather anew this day to celebrate our common heritage.
May we recall in gratitude all that has given us birth.
And now let us sing together, O Brother Sun, words of St. Francis of Assisi, adapted by Sharon Anway, set to a traditional Scottish tune.
Thank you.
Now is the time for our Wonder Box. Maybe like me, you're wondering what's in the Wonder Box. And maybe you've already figured out, I actually know what's in the Wonder Box. But I like to pretend I don't. Let's see. And someday Russ might surprise me and put something in here I don't know about. Nope, not this time. Okay. This is what's in the Wonder Box. And I will bring it close and loud so you can see it. Sorry about that. This is a haiku. And haiku is a poem with a very particular format, 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. So I invite you, I'm going to read this aloud. And which who do you do? Choosing compassion for life, voice of spirit speaks. I want to play with that for a moment, invite you to try a couple of things with these words. This is our last service for this month on deep listening, because next Sunday we're going on a field trip, and I'll tell you more about that later. I hope some of you were able to take part in the 10 o'clock faith development program this morning to explore the practice of Lectio Divina, listening for the divine. This has a lot to do with listening to your own wisdom, the still small voice deep within us. You can use any text to practice this, but today I offer this text for you to contemplate for a moment. I'm going to read the haiku again, and as I read it, just take it in. And Christiana is going to post it in the chat as well so that you can continue this exercise in a moment. Here's the haiku again. Which who do you do? Choosing compassion for life, voice of spirit speaks. Now I invite you to read it out loud for yourself or for all who are there with you in the house this morning, and feel the words in your mouth and in your body as you read them. And if someone else in your house is reading them and you're listening, pay attention to where you feel the words in your body. Close your eyes as you listen. Maybe you noticed something in that practice of feeling the words in your body. And now I invite you to read them silently. And as you read silently, listen for a word or phrase that is resonating for you, that's comfortable, or a word or phrase that challenges you. Now, if we were together in our space, we might be in small groups doing this, and you would share with one another what you felt in this practice or what resonated for you. And we would also offer a lot more time for letting that small voice within emerge, because sometimes it needs a lot of silence and space to fully emerge. But I encourage you to practice this with a poem, a song lyric, a line from a sacred text, or even a sentence in a newspaper or magazine. As you read words silently and then out loud and silently again, Listen deeply for your inner wisdom, your inner voice, to provide some insight. And you can join me on the 28th, in a week and a half, Wednesday the 28th, in my Exploring Spiritual Practices session, which I'm moving to 10 o'clock, and I'll say more about that later. And we'll play with this practice some more. And for now, let us sing together, voice still and small.
Good morning. You'll notice in the order of service that this reflection has no title. I've been thinking about the deep listening theme all month, and I have this unfortunate ability to be so caught up in my own head that I do not notice what's going on around me. So the first title that came up was Speak Up! You need to talk over the earworm soundtrack of my life. Or, are you mumbling or am I deaf? Listening involves more than just communication with sound. We communicate through expression, breath, body language, gestures, and above all, context. When I was a child, my father traveled extensively for work and he'd be gone for days. And when he came home, my mother would say, the lawn needs to be cut. The garage light has been out for weeks and my car needs an oil change. And he would reply with this pompous indignation that he was doing something important because he worked for the government and that she should be happy that he was not some alcoholic ne'er-do-well who beat her on the weekends. So it wasn't until I was an adult that I realized what my mother was really saying with those mean words. And what she was saying was this: I miss you, baby. I am lonely when you are gone. Please don't leave me. And I don't know why that makes me cry, but it does. Because they really loved each other. My father was married 5 times, to my mother twice, and to 3 other women who looked like my mother or had the same job as my mother. In my first marriage, I had the same kind of angry words with my husband, Kenneth. We both sang in this church choir, and on the holy days when we had special music and we sang, he got to wear this great tuxedo and I got to wear this crappy black skirt and white blouse, so I felt like I was a waitress. And then one year I splurged and I spent $34 for a blouse, which was the most money I had ever paid for one article of clothing, because I was like the thrift store queen. And after the first performance, I sent my blouse with his tuxedo. He took my blouse and the tuxedo and his shirts to the dry cleaners to get dried, and they ruined my blouse. So he brings back my ruined blouse and I say, why did you let them ruin my blouse? What did you say to them? What are they going to do? And he's like, look, it is your blouse. If you want it cleaned, you should take it to the dry cleaners yourself. And then he stomped off to play his computer games. And I sat there and I thought, I'm in grief. I'm having grief. And so am I mad at my husband? No, but I'm really mad at the cleaners. And what I really wanted was not to say, why did you do this? I wanted you to say, poor baby. And so I went and knocked on his door and I said, I need you to commiserate with me. I need you to say, those nasty dry cleaners, I'm so sorry they ruined your blouse. And I did that. And it was an argument that we got over. So I did a bunch of reading about communication, especially being married to him because he was very quiet. And I tried practicing. And sometimes I would get better and be pretty good at doing it. And when I met Daniel and we first got together, which was almost 20 years ago now, I would practice doing the better kind of listening. So what I would really like to call this reflection I'm doing today is I would prefer being quick to assessment and reflection and not so quick to anger or judgment, but that would have been too long for the OOS. Anyway, so I got together with Daniel and I just adored him. And I would say, I love you. And he would smile. And I would say, I love you, baby. And he would just smile and he would not say anything. And I'm like, really? Does this man love me? Does he just put up with me because his daughter loves me and I'm a great mother? Like, what is this? Am I out of here when she graduates from high school? And then I looked around and I tried to listen to what wasn't coming out of his mouth. And what I saw, what I heard, what I felt was, here's a man who held my hand every night when we watched television, who planted flowers outside of every room in the house so that I could see them, since I didn't always go outside because I hate mosquitoes, who wrote me beautiful poetry on my birthday, on Valentine's Day, and all that stuff. And did things like this. If you see behind me, this beautiful thing here, he did that. So this man loves me, whether he said it or not. And after a few years, he actually started saying it back to me. And he told me this story about a girlfriend that he had who asked him 100 times a day, do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? And he said he frequently would wake up beside her and she would have her eyes open looking at him and waiting till his eyes opened to say, do you love me? And the words have become without meaning. And they were torture. So I was glad that instead of saying, do you love me? To him, I had paid attention to what he did. And I did not expect the words. So think about this deep listening thing a lot, because I still don't hear things when people speak to me. And sometimes I'm so caught up in my own head, but I sometimes get it right. Like I got it right in that instant. And it's something that I want to work on for the rest of my life. Thank you.
Thank you, Cherie. That was beautiful. Beautiful. Let us respond singing Filled with Loving Kindness, a traditional Buddhist meditation with words adapted by Mark Hayes and set to music by Ian Riddell.
title of this service in this homily is, Which Who Do You Do? People in the ancient world felt that everything was alive, just like intact indigenous people to this day, and some of us UUs. The thinking is that these non-human persons that are who's, not what's, include non-physical beings, plants, bodies of water, landscapes even, and animals. These spirits could enter into us and speak mainly through the breath. For example, in Hebrew, Greek, and Aramaic, the same word is used for breath, wind, and spirit. So when a wind blew, it was a spirit speaking or a vision from a deity. The breath actually brings living beings or energies in and out of our bodies to make us living souls. These beings or energies could bring illness or healing, pleasure or pain. Carl Jung understood these presences and energies to be both within our individual and collective psyches, existing across all cultures, and he called them archetypes. Some psychologists today understand these presences to be complexes as semi-autonomous parts of ourselves, or as inner dialogues and discursive thinking, what Buddhists call the monkey mind. Now, whether we want to engage helpful inner voices, or if we want to engage loving and compassionate non-human presences, we can listen deeply for what's beneath a dysphoric cacophony of disapproving, guilt and shame inducing, and reality distorting voices. They may tell us we are worthless, despicable, and compel us to harm ourselves, other humans, and the earth herself. Or they can trigger feelings that make us lose hope and meaning, that may even masquerade as the voice of God. These are not evil in themselves, but are imbalanced. Are these whose we want to direct our doings? However, we can also learn to listen deeply to the whos that speak of wholeness, of comfort in sorrow and pain, who encourage joy, curiosity, courage, and compassion. So whether we experience these whos, these voices and spirits, as literal or as metaphorical parts of ourselves, how do we know which who we do and what controls us consciously or unconsciously? Which whos are directing our behavior and our actions? How do we do deep listening and hear the voices and spirits that uplift, that ignite inner strength, that give us courage to stand for something, to take loving actions, and to have compassion for ourselves and others, to live our lives with wonder and curiosity? Our culture teaches most of us to not feel or to only feel certain things. Those uncomfortable and sometimes terrible feelings like anger, shame, hurt, fear, and lust for things and actions that challenge our values and self-image are to be suppressed, ignored, dismissed, or distracted maybe through frenetic activity or using addictive substances, or things like overeating or overworking, obsessing, compulsing, ruminating, and through many other distractions. These are usually called defense mechanisms, but can also be considered protective voices that have become unbalanced and tyrannical. And by the way, I am certainly not disparaging those of us who need or use medication in order to be able to pay attention to the life-affirming voices and the breaths of life. Nor am I speaking of those who use psychedelic or entheogenic substances in a sacred way, sometimes in order to discover the who's that they want to do. For those who wish to do the following deep listening practice, I encourage us to have healthy curiosity, courage, and compassion for ourselves, for our families of birth or choice, for our country, and for the entire living world. And whatever we feel as we enter this practice is right for us in this moment. There is no right feeling. There is no one correct way to experience this or any other exercise. So let's only engage in what fits for us. So now let's settle into the surface that we're on, sitting, lying. I don't recommend standing, but however, and let's feel gravity pull us towards the ground. And that's kind of like kissing the earth, noticing our breath, the spirit of life, moving in and out of our bodies. Let's notice in our bodies our various sensations, emotions, and any other feelings, of which we probably have more than one. Where in our bodies do we feel them? And what do they feel like? Are they warm or cool? Tight or relaxed? Hard or soft? Pleasurable or painful? Numb or tingly? Or a combination of several of these sensations at once? So just notice without trying to change them or fix them, although, interestingly, they might shift and change on their own. And now let's change our focus and put it on an experience or experiences we have where either we were shown great compassion and non-judgment, or where we were able to hold somebody else in a non-judging way and listen to what they felt. When have we felt either of these? If for some reason nothing comes to mind, just imagine how that would feel. So let's notice what these recollections and thoughts feel like. Continuing to breathe, taking it all in the moment. What does compassion feel like towards you, or when you feel it towards another? What's it like to be non-judgmental? And let's turn that compassion on ourselves, on our own feelings, including those that we easily may discount or reject even. Let's notice all kinds of who's, voices, spirits, and deep feelings in whatever way we experience them. Maybe we just acknowledge them for now, being aware of them. Or maybe we can fully accept, embrace, or forgive as is needed. Following that breath of life in and out, feeling compassion for our own feelings, our own voices, all the who's that are within us. And let's listen for any message, any image, or maybe a noticeable relaxation that's kind of an aha, that just makes something feel right or just the same. Maybe we realize there are times or places or people that we need to release, or there are actions we need to take, or compulsions, delusions, or addictions we need to address. Which do we do? You need to take a few more moments, just listening deeply, feeling into our hearts, into our guts, all the messages that our bodies and these inner voices give us. Remember, there's no particular right thing to do or to discover. It's just whatever is. And that's appropriate. That's okay for this day. And let's now imagine breathing deeply into and out of the earth. So imagine that you're reaching down to the earth and finding the breath. Breathe into and out of the earth. Like try it several different ways, breathing in and reaching down and then letting it come up. Or when we breathe out, breathing into it. And when we breathe in, drawing it up from the earth. And we can do the same with the sky. That means everything above our head, our ceilings, on up into the air. Let it just continue up into the atmosphere. Just as far as you can breathe the air, and then in the same way we did from the earth, let it come back down inside us, inspiring us. And then let us breathe from what's around us, from trees and other plants, from our loved ones, from our pets, from anything that can provide us energy. And let us connect to this here and now that we are a part of. Now, if our eyes are open, let's open them now. And wiggle your fingers, toes, move around a bit. Might want to stretch. Just kind of staying in the mood, but we're also coming back to a somewhat more normal state of consciousness. And I invite you for this week to take this deep listening practice into your life. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be exactly the way we did it today. Just imagine something that feels compassionate. And then turn it on all the thoughts and feelings and voices and spirits that are inside us. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. That's lovely. This congregation strives to create a model of beloved community, and we do this in part through the care and support we give to one another. We each arrive here holding joys and sorrows, triumphs and disappointments. We set aside time in this communal space to honor that which we carry on our hearts, to celebrate together and to grieve together. If you would like your joy or sorrow shared aloud in the service, please share it in the chat space on Zoom, and our pastoral care associate, Bill Benshoff, will read them aloud as I light a candle of compassion to lift your joy or sorrow into the collective consciousness. I invite us now to enter into a time of silent reflection as we create a container of compassion strong enough to hold all our joys and our sorrows. Into this container, we offer that which is most on our hearts to share with this beloved, compassionate, and supportive community. We offer this candle for all the joys and the sorrows that are held in the quiet sanctuary of the heart. May we hold one another with compassion and love and kindness. Amen. And now we respond, singing together, Return Again by Shlomo Carlebach. Our congregation is committed to creating a more compassionate world beyond our walls, and to this end, each quarter we share our plate collection with an organization selected by our Giveaway the Plate Committee. Our fourth quarter plate recipient is New Life Technology Group, located in Alpharetta, Georgia. Their mission is to help our planet by reducing e-waste and support our community through their Computers for Kids program. They do this by recycling, refurbishing, and redistributing electronic waste. They work with businesses, schools, faith communities, nonprofits, and neighborhoods to help keep electronics out of landfills and donate them back to the community. Through the power of our donations, they are able to transform our community and the world around us toward a greener, cleaner, and more hopeful future. Our plate contributions also support the shared ministry of this congregation, so I ask that you please give generously to support the work of this really important ministry in our wider community, as well as the vision and mission of our congregation. As we listen to a recording of our pianist, Brian Bishop, playing Lullaby by Giancarlo Manotti, you will see on the screen ways to contribute to our offering via PayPal, Venmo, or by mailing a check payable to UUCG to the address shown. If you are worshiping with us for the first time today, your presence here with us today is a great gift to this congregation, and you may choose to let the plate pass. The offering will now be most gratefully received. May the generous gifts received this week move us towards realizing our vision of a more connected and compassionate world. Thank you. I am grateful, so grateful, for Daniel Bailey for taking the lead on this morning's service and offering such an inspiring message and practice, and to Cherie for her words, also very inspiring and brilliant. Thank you, Sherry. I'm also grateful for Christiana McQuain for managing the Zoom room and Russ Taddeo for running video and sound. And now is the time for our call to connection. Please seek ways to connect between Sundays. If you are a newcomer to our congregation, I really encourage you to text welcoming to the number on the screen so that you can receive a few texts and emails for a few weeks to guide you in connecting more deeply with the congregation and getting to know some people. I know most people come to congregations seeking a way to connect and be inspired, and getting together with other people is a big part of that. So look for ways to connect. And you can sign up for our weekly e-news, which is one of the most important mechanisms we have for announcing to people what's happening in our congregation. If you want to get that in your email each week, send a message to info@uucg.org and you'll get on the list, and that will have also has the links to a lot of the things we do, the links to worship, the links to faith development, and the links to our various events and activities. So please, I encourage everyone, if you're not getting the e-news, to please do that. And on our website, on the front page, at the bottom of the homepage, there is a link for register for events. And that is a really helpful way to let us know who's coming to our events so that we can be ready for you. If we don't have registrations, then we may have to cancel things. So it's important to register and let us know you're coming. And on that note, today after the service and every third Sunday of the month, we offer our UU 101 visitor orientation for people who are new to our congregation to learn more about Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Gwinnett, as well as Unitarian Universalism. So I know that we have one registration for that today, so we'll be there. And also today we offer our 102 program for those who have already been to 101 and are looking to learn more about the commitments of membership and what it means to be a member of the congregation. And I host that, and no one has registered so far, but I'll open the room for about 10 minutes and see if someone shows up. And if you would like to attend either of these next month in November, on the third Sunday in November, which I believe is the 15th, then you can register for events on from our website. And now, big reminder, and I'm going to say it again at the end of this, next Sunday we're going on a field trip to the UU Fellowship of Raleigh, North Carolina, where Reverend Dr. James Kubal Komodo will be delivering the message. that day. And the description for that should already be up on our website. And it's also on their website if you want to check it out. The links will be available in our e-news and on our website so that you can get there next week. It is at 11 o'clock, just like our worship time. And all of our field trips now, we will make sure we're going to places that worship at the same time we do, so that at 10 o'clock, we can continue to offer our programs for adults and teens. We have our program next Sunday at 10 o'clock, Listening for Silence. It's going to be a lovely program. Please join us. As I said during the Joys and Sorrows, our good friend Terry Welsher is still receiving 4 to 5 bags of platelets a day, so he needs lots of platelets. I'm so pleased that I just got word back that I'm eligible to donate, so I'm setting up an appointment for next week to go do that. When you donate platelets, please mention that you're donating for Terry Welsher, Team Terry. It is very important. It helps him get points for credits for things, so it's helpful to make sure you name him. And you can go to atlantabloodservices.com for the phone number to set up an appointment. We have the Unitarian Universalist Association has been doing a nationwide effort to get out the vote. It's a nonpartisan effort to support voter registration, education, and efforts to get people to the polls in November. If you need someone to take your absentee ballot to a drop box at the voter registration office, or you need a ride to the polls, or you need anything, we don't want anything to stop anyone from voting. So you send me a message and we'll get you connected with some way to make sure your vote will count this year. Also, next Saturday, we have a property work day. Thanks to Harry Felice for organizing these. So grateful. From 8 to 11 next Saturday, please come. There is registration on the events, register for events button. That will help us to know that people are coming. And please bring some tools and your water, food, snacks, whatever you need. We'll be using social distancing, masks, all of that. So, but please come and help get our grounds, keep our grounds looking nice for our community. Big news is that we are now registered for the Transgender Inclusion in Congregations course. It's a 6-session course that is self-paced online. However, we are going to ask all who register to join a small group to process what you are learning and explore how to bring what you are learning into our congregational life to expand and increase and grow in our radical welcome. Please register by November 13th so we can get our small groups organized for meeting once in December, once in January, and once in February. So you can take your time from November into February to do the work. There are videos and there's reading to do. And Christiana McQueen and I have been through this program. It is brilliant. It is so good. It covers things about gender that I thought I knew a lot, and I learned a lot. And it covers things about intersectionality of identity and welcoming, and also affecting cultural change in congregations for increasing our welcome. So I hope that lots of people will sign up for this, and that it will help us to expand our welcome. And on that note, I'll just let you know that we are making progress on the renovations to our bathrooms to make them all non-gender bathrooms. So, okay, and reminder that our elementary religious exploration program takes place on Sundays at 12:30. And if you have not yet registered for this program, please consider doing so. All of our programs for children require registration in order to gain access as a measure of security. I believe Christiana is going to post the link for where to register so that your family can be involved in these programs. And they will be meeting today at 12:30. And next Sunday, our program for adults and teens is Listening for Silence, and exploring how we get comfortable with silence. Or maybe you're very comfortable with silence, and maybe you can help work with others to help them be more comfortable with silence. But it'll be an interesting program, and I hope many will attend. On the first and third Wednesdays from 10 to noon, our Yarns from the Heart group gathers to just hang out together while they work on their fiber crafts, knitting, crocheting, quilting, embroidery, so forth. And now on alternating Sundays on the second and fourth Wednesdays, alternating Wednesdays on the second and fourth Wednesday, I'll be doing my Exploring Spiritual Practices program from 10 to 11. Starting on October 28th, we'll be doing that on alternating Wednesdays. Please join me. Well, virtual happy hour will continue through October, and we're exploring other ways that we might get together socially. In case you've been worried that there's like 50 people in that room and it's going to be crazy and you don't want to be there, that's not the case. It's only been like 3 or 4 people. So if you would like to come and have conversation with people on Thursday evenings, please come and join us, and maybe we can keep it going if we get just a few more people coming. Thank you. And lots of ways to connect. So please take a look at our website and our calendar on our website. The Covenant Choir is actually working on a virtual piece now, and we hope, if we all get our work done, that we can debut that on November 1st in our service on that day. And Belief Explorations is on second Sundays. Book Club is coming up in a week and a half. And Exploring Tarot with Sherry every Sunday from 4 to 6 isn't actually tarot readings. Like I said last week, it's exploring the imagery of tarot cards and different decks and really exploring tarot. Yarns from the Heart I mentioned, and Sylvan Sanctuary will have their Samhain ritual on November 7th. And speaking of the November 1st service, I want to make sure that you got the message that we are going to have our service of remembrance when we place ribbons on our wreath, our memorial wreath. Since we can't be in person, I ask that you please send me the names of people, beloveds in your life who have died in the last year, since last October, and I will write the ribbons out and say their names during that ritual on November 1st. You can send those to me by Facebook Messenger, by email, by text. I prefer you didn't call me with it because I like to see it, so I make sure I spell it correctly and all that. But please send me those, and then we'll be able to do our ritual together in a little different way, but hopefully still very meaningful.
Our closing words are adapted from the Gaelic runes. Deep peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the shining stars to you. Deep peace of the infinite peace to you.
And now we rise in spirit as we say together the words we say as we extinguish our chalices, followed by our closing song, Blue Boat Home, music originally written by Roland Hugh Pritchard and arranged by Peter Mayer, with new words from Peter Mayer. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. our service has ended, and now our service to one another and to the world begins. And one of the best things we can do to serve the world right now is vote. So please make sure you do that, but also to take really good precautions with this virus. It is still very much a concern, very much in our lives. So make sure that you are taking care, we're wearing your mask, keeping your distance, washing your hands, all of that. Please be cautious. You're each so very, very precious to me and to this world.